Welcome to Indiana Basketball Weekly on the Grueling Truth Sports Network. I'm your co-host for the Indiana Basketball Weekly show, Mike Goodpaster. And right now I would like to welcome my co-host, 1981 national champion, member of the Indiana Basketball Hall of Fame, Steve Risley. How you doing, Steve?
Hey, Mike, good job tonight. We get a win. I'm doing great. We got a win out of this deal. It was an ugly win, but it's a win.
Yeah, the Indiana Hoosiers.
We just got to text and call Colin real quick. Let's get him on board.
All right, we got to call in our
These
other
young kids,
co-hosts.
they get wrapped up in their Xbox game. He's probably playing Fortnite or something like that, whatever that is.
Have you ever
Probably
played
doing something like
Fortnite,
that.
Steve?
I've never played an Xbox game in my life. I don't even know how to turn an Xbox on.
You know what? I heard that you had the same problem with women. Let's see.
Ow. I've been married 34 years.
Come on, that
It's
was
not
a good
important.
one. That was a good one.
That was a good one. Touche. Well played.
Yeah. I'll have to tell Colin about that when he answers. Are you there, Colin?
Hey.
Hey,
Yeah.
Steve said that you're probably playing the Xbox, and I asked him if he ever played Fortnite, and he said he didn't even know how to turn one on. So then I, of course, said, that's what women say about you, too.
I'm going to be 60 on Friday. I'm going to be 60 on Friday. My sexual prowess days are long gone.
Well, you did sell Viagra for an extended amount of time.
So we need.
And I have plenty of supplies left, too, buddy. Don't worry about that.
Also, I was going to say that we need an ED sponsor for Steve, but I guess not. And, of course, our other co-host.
I've got all I need to do for the rest of my life. But move on.
And our other co-host, Collin Hartman. How you doing, Colin?
Collin Hartman.
I'm doing great, guys. What's up, fellas?
All right, Indiana beats Penn State 64-62. It is a much-needed road win in the Big Ten, which now runs them to 2-0. And for once, Colin, the difference in the game was free throws, and it was in a good way for Indiana.
Yeah. I mean, when this team starts making strides like that, not always pretty of a win, but it's a road win, and Steve will be the first to tell you, you take a road win however you get it in the Big Ten.
Any way you get it in the Big Ten, you take a road win.
Anyway, and the fact that these guys did shoot the ball well from the free throw line is, especially on the road, a little bit of maturity growing, and I think it's another step forward.
Well, Penn State was 11 for 26, which makes it really hard to win. IU shot 41.8% from the field, 38.9% from the three-point line. Steve, what was your take on the offense? Because I wasn't real impressed still with the ball movement, and I still think they got a ways to go offensively.
Well, first of all, I'm going to say, like Colin and I have said, you got a road win. So everything we're going to talk about from here on out is going to be just additive. The fact that we won the game, however we won the game, you win the game. That's the most critical thing here. And, they didn't have to learn a lesson by losing, which you never learn lessons by losing. So maybe they learned a little bit of lesson by winning.
Of course not.
Our offense is sluggish, but we're such a good shooting basketball team. We compensate because we're such a good shooting basketball team. I'm sure we were over 50% again. I haven't seen a box score yet.
41.8, 38.9 from three-point percentage. And you know what this tells me? You don't pay attention to a damn thing I say because I read that off before I asked you about the offense.
Yeah, you did, but I was searching for a box score, so I'm sorry.
I'm reading a box score. I don't know why it's so hard for you to find a box score sometimes. Do you got your glasses on?
No. Yeah, I got my glasses on. Actually, I took the California driver's test the other day, and I had like 20/20 vision, which I tell you what I learned about that is they give driver's license to anybody in California, even blind people.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Story. I think the thing with our offense, the only thing I'm concerned about is we're penetrating well, but we're penetrating and avoiding contact instead of challenging the defensive players. I think it was about 10 to 12 minutes into I don't even know we shot a free throw in the first half or how long it took us to get a free throw. We need to be attacking their defense more with our great penetration. Our guards are penetrating really well. We're dishing off well. Tonight was a very good offensive night, I thought, in terms of execution and getting people in the right place and not relying on a three-point shot. We hit the three-point shots when we took them when they were open, when they were given to us. That's what you got to do. You don't want to live and die by that shot. And I just like to see us now go and challenge the defense more and get to the foul line earlier in the game more often. Other than that, I have no problem with our offense tonight.
Well, I had a problem the last 4 minutes because I don't even think they made a basket, and there was 2 or 3 really bonehead passes thrown there that really could have cost this team the game, Colin.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the box score, it looks nice, but like you said, there's some because we had 4 guys in double figures, which on the road is great. We're going to need that. I'll preach that all season long. But
sure.
Like you said, there's just some growing pains and some things, and guys need to get through that quick, very quick, and making just dumb decisions instead of making turnovers, trying to make a play or making a back cut pass, and it's just a little bit off. And we will take turnovers from guys if it's a scoring play, and it's not irrational. The bonehead plays, like you said, and the whirling dervish throws, while yes, they're pretty if they go through, but they go through very, very rarely. So it's just getting through that and being more consistent on the road is going to be a big thing for this team.
Well, I think this. I still don't see a lot of intensity, Colin, and a lot of that. You look at the first 7 or 8 minutes of the game. It took that team this long to score, and if Penn State would have been playing well, this would have been a lot worse than 9 or 10-0.
Well, I don't know if what it was like today, really, just because Penn State's a more decent team than they have been traditionally. At least going in, they have some solid wins. So I don't know what the atmosphere is like, but the last time I went into Penn State, last few times that I've gone into Penn State, it's a weird atmosphere. You got a big arena with very few people in it.
Yeah, it's a football school.
Yeah, and it's a weird vibe in there, so you have to really go in and generate your own energy and generate your own enthusiasm. And that was hard for a young team, and this is where you have the problem of your leader and leaders not necessarily being super vocal, because you have to generate that self-energy, and that's what I see throughout this team and throughout these last few games is you got to have that somebody can spark that fire vocally, just because the energy is not going to be in the building every night, because we're playing teams like Penn State and Rutgers and Nebraska, and actually Nebraska's got a solid basketball following. So we're playing in these arenas that we have to generate our own energy, because sometimes it might be dead. Maybe it's Christmas break or whatever. So it's just bringing that intensity and bringing that energy. I don't know how it was for you, Steve, but that's one thing that's the vocal aspect of it from my perspective.
Yeah, to throw back at you just a little bit, I know that my freshman year at IU was my most fun year because I didn't know what I didn't know. And I went out there to play with enthusiasm, with fun, and didn't have any fear of night at that point in time or losing or the retributions of losing or anything like that. And if this young team is not generating enthusiasm, communication, it goes back to communication. I mean, it's got to be, let's go have fun, boys. We're a talented basketball team. Let's go out. And it kind of disappoints me a little bit that I kind of agree with your assessment, Colin, right? Spot on. But this team should be more enthusiastic playing the game right now. They're young. This is a first-time experience for all of them. They should be playing with their eyes wide open and their hearts full. And I don't see that with this basketball team. There's almost like a Joe Coolness about this basketball team that's kind of not gnawing at me in any way, shape, or form. Just kind of, I'm noticing it.
Yeah, my question is Evan Fitzner, Steve. He needs to be more physical, and I don't think he's that type of player. And if he doesn't become that type of player, I think that's going to hurt us inside also.
Well, that's upon the coaching staff telling you got to be more physical. I mean, he's not a banger. He wants to play outside more than he wants to play inside. The guy's, what, 6'10", Colin?
Yeah.
Yeah, 6'10". He can run inside. Bang people. I mean, he's got to weigh 210, 220, 230 pounds, somewhere in there. That's that height, I would think. I don't have the roster right in front of me, but anyway, I don't want to fault anybody, anyone in particular person. I think the error of the ways of this basketball team still lies on the defensive end. They don't transition well. They don't know where their man is. They don't know where the ball is defensively. And they continue to play it that way without knowing where your man is. I saw too many times where Penn State transitioned down, and I'm seeing guys flying out to the corner trying to pick up their man when their guys out there spotting up for a wide-open set-shot three-pointer, and we're like trying helter-skelter to get to them because we don't know where our man is. And we're not transitioning back. We're not sprinting down the court and being the first guys back. So my still irritation with this basketball team, if there is one, is that it's still on the defensive end of the game. It still rankles me a little bit because I keep getting this word that Archie Miller is a great defensive coach. And I think the weakest point of this basketball team is their defensive prowess. So I don't know. I mean, it's just my thought process.
Yeah, and my concern is this. I want to know why Devontae Green's not playing more, because I think he should be. I think he's one of the best players on this team. And tonight, even though he didn't play a ton at the end of the game, those 2 threes he hit back-to-back early on were huge.
Well, yeah, I think in defense of that
hey, wait a second,
Tennessee
Steve. I was obviously
Tennessee probably really.
Steve, I was asking that question to your dog. That's why you started to answer, and then you interrupted him.
I interrupted who?
Your dog. I was asking the dog the question. He's answering,
and
you just interrupted him. And the way your dog is, he'll refuse to answer any more questions I ask, so you might as well go ahead and do it now.
Yeah, that's another dog bone I got to feed him. Yeah, no doubt. But, Tennessee had a great end of the game. He probably really steadied the IU really well in the last 5 minutes of the game. Mason came up with some big defensive plays, controlled the ball offensively, took the ball the whole hard. So I can't fault that. I just think that maybe this team needs to think more about going to a 3-2 offense with playing 3 perimeter players, because I definitely think Devontae needs to be getting more playing time than Justin Smith right now. I'm just not seeing a lot of effectiveness out of Smith. I think there are other players who are making bigger contributions and getting less minutes than he is right now. It's my opinion. Colin, please chime in and tell me I'm wrong, or tell me I'm right, or comment on it, please. Justin Smith.
Yeah, I mean, I think that he's not playing smart. He's not playing aggressive. He's not playing with the way he came in, the way he ended up playing last season. If he goes back to playing like that, then we win a few more games. The Duke game's closer. Everything is just different perspective. So I think you hit right. I mean, you have to earn minutes. If you're not performing, nothing's just handed to you.
I don't think he's earning minutes. I don't think he's earning minutes. It's a good point, Colin. Great point.
Yeah, so it's just, especially, the statistics speak for themselves, and just the way, I think it's just sometimes the way that he plays and the way he carries himself. He's naturally gifted athletically, so he's never really had to be the guy that's had to overexert himself on the floor to, get a result. Whereas, that's the only way I could get on the floor. So it frustrates me. But I agree 100% with you, Steve. The dude's got to work hard, and obviously something's not connecting. So,
would it be better spending the time and giving Deron Davis more minutes, and at least trying developing him, because he's such a big presence, a big body that we don't have that could take some heat off of Juwan. But we're giving it to Justin, and we're not seeing a lot of production out of Justin. I don't think effective production. He has his moments, but this whole team is a team built of great athletes who are playing like great athletes right now. They're not playing like a team of great athletes. You're playing a group of great athletes. But I'm thinking maybe give Deron some more minutes, get Devontae more minutes and sit some guys down. You know, Al Durham. I didn't see a lot of contribution out of him tonight either. But the way this team's being built right now, it's being built 8-9 deep. So maybe that's just his thought process. And you know, I don't know, Colin, were you ever 2-0 in the Big Ten? I don't know that I ever was. I don't know that we ever started the Big Ten in my 4 years at IU 2-0. I'd have to go back and look at the records. Mike can probably Google that real quick and tell me if we ever did. But I mean, were you ever 2-0? 2-0 is a great start for this basketball team.
Oh yeah, I mean, especially if one of those is roadie.
Roadie, yeah.
You take them however you get those, man. I can't stress that enough. I don't care what arena you're in. I don't care what that team's ranked. If they're ranked at all, what their record is in the Big Ten. You take every win you get, however you can get it, just because they add up and they do not come easy.
Especially going to a place like Happy Valley, which is like you said it's a weird place to play. I never played there, but I've watched enough games being played there. You've played there, and I agree with you. It seems like just a weird place to go play basketball.
It is, man. It is.
Yeah,
a weird environment.
Like I said, we never played there. Penn State wasn't part of the Big Ten when I played in the Big Ten, but it just seems goofy going and playing there. So I think that's a great win for this basketball team. What I continue to be admiring about this basketball team is they continue to find ways to win tough, close games. They're in the competitive mode with. Obviously, Duke was the game that they weren't in really a competitive mode with Duke. They weren't at that level yet. Maybe we'll get there by the end of the season. And I believe we probably will be much more ready to take them on later on in the dance if we have to. But in the Arkansas game's a game we should have won. You know, we had every opportunity to win that game. We just missed a 6-inch bunny that would have given us the game. But other than that, this team is showing great resilience with the ability to win these tight games. I mean, it's just coming down there in the last 30 minutes. We were, up by 4 points. They had the ball or down by 2. You know, they had by 2. Let me ask you this, Colin. I coached you enough, and we played enough in the field house and places. They're playing us man-to-man defense under the bucket with 1.7 seconds to go. What play are we going to run?
We're going to get the best player of the ball.
We're going to run pick-the-picker.
Yep.
Number 4. Remember, that was number 4 in our lineup. Run 4. They're man-to-man. Let's run 4. Screen the screener. And that's a layup or a foul every time. Instead, they spread the floor out entirely, pack it in, and take the ball inside on us. We're not very good inside perimeter defense. That's poor coaching on their part tremendously. I look at that and say, my God, they're playing this man-to-man, and they're not running pick-the-picker. I mean, it's the most basic out-of-bounds play, man-to-man out-of-bounds play, and Penn State doesn't have the wherewithal to run that play, which gives them a layup or a foul shot, a foul or a layup, one of the two, to tie the game up. So, coaching. Right. Too many guys get coaching jobs that shouldn't be coaching.
We're going to move on. Will you quit talking crap about Steve Alford again? But we're going to move on.
I'm not talking about Steve Alford. Don't. I'm going to try and go to a game here pretty soon. He's going to listen to this. He's going to put me in the bleachers if he can give me tickets.
You know what? If you go to UCLA game the way it's going, you'll be able to sit wherever you want. Next up, we're going to talk Louisville. But first, Steve, since you're a little bit older than us, like a lot older,
yeah,
you called it a 6-inch bunny. I'm sure you were around when that term first originated in basketball vernacular. What does that really mean, 6-inch bunny?
I'm like you. It was there when I started playing the game. You missed a bunny. A bunny's soft. I guess a bunny is soft, cuddly, fuzzy, warm, easy. They don't bite you. They just kind of sit in your arms and kind of just be nice, and it's right there. And so a 6-inch bunny is, I guess that's how you would define a bunny.
Okay.
I mean, you're right. I don't really know what a bunny is, other than now I just defined it.
I don't know, because I've always heard everybody say it, and I never really wondered or thought what how they came up with it. So if anybody out there knows, you can tweet us at The Grueling Truth. Next up, Indiana will host Louisville on Saturday afternoon at 2:30, which means we'll be on somewhere around 4:30 or 5. This is a game that I think is going to be very difficult. Louisville's coached by Chris Mack. He's going to use 9 or 10 guys and just try to wear you out. They're going to be extremely physical. They are coming off wins over Michigan State at home and a road win at a good Seton Hall team. Collin, this is a game where I think if they come out with no intensity, they're going to get buried.
Yeah. And I think Assembly Hall can only take you so far. And I think we have the talent. We have what we need to win. Louisville's a very, very well-coached and disciplined and athletic team. But we have to come out ready. And, I mean, they play the run and jump game. If we play casual nonchalant, that's when those turnovers will rack up. And we'll be giving bucket after bucket after bucket, and it's just going to compound and it'll get out of our hands really quick. With that kind of team, as you saw with Duke. Yes, Louisville's not on Duke's level to the talent-wise, but the style of play with the athleticism and forcing you to turn the ball over, that can be a problem for us if we come out nonchalant. I don't think we will. I like to not think that we would, but that's just something that I'm looking for and hoping that does not happen.
Yeah, and to me, Steve, this is a game, win or lose, where this game's going to make you better. You're playing a team that will play hard. I don't think Louisville has near the talent level of Indiana, but so far I don't think Indiana's had the intensity Louisville's had. So I think this is a huge opportunity for this Indiana team to take a giant leap forward.
Yeah, there's a couple of markers here that Indiana's got to get involved in. First of all, they have to become more reliant on each other. I still think we're scoring individually and not scoring as a team. We're not setting a lot of good screens, and we're not relying on good ball movement to score. We're basically coming down and using our athleticism to score. So against a team that's as adept as Louisville is, as well coached as Louisville is, as good a defensive team as I've seen them play a couple times, they are a good defensive team. And they'll shut the lanes down on you if you're trying to do it 1-on-5 or 2-on-5. So Indiana's got to become more reliant on each other to help set up scoring opportunities, because that's going to bite them in the butt as soon as they play a couple good teams such as Louisville. The other thing that I think this team's got to do, Collin, and I'll let you, you kind of touched on it, but this team's not really playing with any level of intensity at all. Am I right or wrong, Collin? It just seems like there's no intensity on this team at all. They just go nonchalantly play basketball. And they're so athletically good, they just play, but they've got to step up their intensity.
I agree, 100%, 100%.
Yeah,
I mean it's a visual problem right now. We can see that it's just I don't see people getting super into the game or being super ecstatic that somebody scores or a dunk or anything like that. It's just really casual, nonchalant, and I get that to play even keel, but there's got to be a time where you just generate your energy. Like I'm saying, you have to generate your own team's energy, and that not only lifts you guys up, but the other team's like, dang, like they're going, and we're not.
And that goes back, that goes back to my year-long observation, Mike, of just them not having a spiritual leader on this basketball team. They've got leaders. I mean, Romeo's an offensive leader. Juwan's an offensive leader, but they don't have a spiritual leader on this basketball team. She didn't make Roberts get up and kind of like somewhat like what Collin did a lot this last year of playing. I looked at Collin as really a spiritual leader of this basketball team. When he came up, he was high-fiving people. He was running up down the court, clapping, and he was, just being enthusiastic about playing the game of basketball. And I'm just not seeing that from anybody on this team. Mike, what do you think?
Well, that's why I brought up intensity.
Did you watch the game, Mike?
Tonight. Yes, I watched the game. You didn't. You were watching Gunfight at the OK Corral, you said.
Yeah, it was. It was a good movie. Henry Fonda.
It's a good movie.
It's
a good movie. I mean, the great thing about that is that movie was made in what, 40s or 50s, and Steve
40s.
was there on the night it premiered.
I was. So yeah, I think to play a team like Louisville,
I think
Louisville's going to come.
I think Louisville's going to bring it, which I think is what you were just going to say.
Yeah.
I think you've got Indiana
exactly.
playing Louisville and Sister playing Louisville. I think you will have a lot more emotional crowd. And I'm just afraid if they don't bring it here, we may never see it from this team because we're almost 10 games in. You're going to play Louisville. It's going to be a hostile environment in your favor. And they should attack it. They should win the game. After that, you play Butler. The thing that concerns me is we had Brian Ralph in today from Fansided to talk a little college basketball. We asked him about Indiana. You can find that on thegruelingtruth.net. But the thing that stood out to him was he thought Indiana might possibly be the third best team in the Big Ten, Colin. But his concern was Indiana can beat anybody at home, but they can lose to damn near anybody on the road.
You see, that's the crazy thing, though, of how the Big Ten works to a certain extent. The Big Ten is we're really good this year as a conference. That's the scary thing. I don't think anybody would debate that. But, you can lose or win on any given night in conference play if your mindset's not right. You can get smacked at home. You can really get smacked on the road. And those road wins, as we've said, are hard. But every win is it's going to be a grind out majority of the time. And then we're going to continue to have more of these grinded out close games if we don't see the changes that we've kind of talked about in the show and that we've talked about throughout the week. But you can take losses at any point in time. And it's a mindset. It is a mindset.
And listening to you guys, I'll say with all sincerity, I really respect both your basketball opinions. You're almost convincing me Indiana's almost going to have to lose a game in the Big Ten to get their crap together. Because I think
I don't know, because this is the thing, though, Steve. They got destroyed by Duke. If that doesn't wake your ass up and want you to play with intensity, that's what I'm worried about here.
Mike. There's nobody in the real world that expected Indiana to go into Cameron Indoor and beat Duke.
That's a load of crap.
It's a load of crap.
It's not unrealistic to give your best possible effort.
It's unrealistic.
And
it's unrealistic to think they were going to beat Duke.
Okay, that is not my problem. My problem is not losing to Duke. My problem is the fact you went to Cameron Indoor Stadium and you showed no intensity. It's not like you're going to Penn State where you kind of got to generate your own. I guarantee you when you go to Duke, Collins played at Duke, it's a whole different environment. And if you can't get jacked up for that, I worry about this team because of that. And I worry about this Louisville game. If they beat Louisville, I will feel much better about this team. This game to me is huge because, as Collins said, there's 10 teams here that could be NCAA tournament teams. There's probably 7 or 8 that are going to make it, which means a couple are going to get left out. And when you look at this schedule, if they have trouble on the road, they're going to go to Michigan January 6th. January 11th, they're going to go to Maryland, who's ranked 23rd. Then they're going to host Nebraska, who's 24th. Then they're going to Purdue. Then they're going to Northwestern, who they beat by 2. And then they host Michigan. And then 2 games later, after a game against Rutgers, they're going to Michigan State. This is rough. And right now, with Louisville, Butler, Central Arkansas, Jacksonville, Illinois, if they could run the table there and be 12-2, I think they're going to be in good shape to make the tournament. But if you drop this Louisville game and maybe drop that Butler game, you got some issues.
Yeah. And Colin, let me ask you this, and please feel free not to answer this if you don't want to, because I know you have a relationship with this current program. How much of this falls on Archie Miller? How much of this, the lack of intensity that's out there for the game? Knight generated a lot of intensity for us. He brought it to us in practicing in the locker room, and we carried it onto the court. How much of this lack of intensity is falling on Archie Miller right now and his entire coaching staff, for that matter? I see his coaching staff just kind of sitting there blasé during the whole game, not really doing a lot of anything. If you don't want to answer it, I'll answer it. But I want to give you first shot at it because you know the staff better than I do. But I also don't want to put you in a position because you don't want to sit next to the band like I have to when I go to games. You want to still sit behind the bench. So be careful.
Well, good advice. But no, I know Coach Miller and that staff. You get the same thing from them every day. You know what you're getting. And that's one of the things that I loved about about that stuff is that you knew what you were getting day in and day out.
Well,
I
let me
know
ask you a
that.
question, Are practices intense?
Yeah, they were when I was
Why
there.
is it not
That was
translating to
last
games
year.
for this team?
What'd you say?
Why is it not translating? If practices are intense, why is it not translating to a game or converting to a game situation then?
You know what? I hate to say it, but I mean,
Be careful.
the more that I know,
You don't
the
want
more
to sit
that
next to the tuba. I've sat next to the tuba the last 2 games I've been to at IU. It is no fun.
That's because he's the only person that can see over the tuba. But go ahead.
I see over him. I just can't hear over him.
that's funny. You know, I think it's, and I hate to say it, it's the way society has gone and the way the world works now is those cameras come on and millions of people are watching. People want to be cool.
Don't tell me you get John Shaft on us. You don't go Shaft on us, do you?
Not me. The thing is,
You don't go Mod Squad. You don't go Mod Squad and John Shaft.
Does Collin even know who those people are?
I don't even know
whatever
who
that
Mod
is.
Squad is or who John Shaft was. Richard Roundtree
No.
John Shaft.
Yeah, Shaft. Look it up on YouTube when we get done, Collin. Then you'll know.
Oh, that's great. And then the Mod Squad with Link, Julie, and Pete.
I'm not old enough to remember that one, but I do remember
Clarence
Shaft.
Williams III, Peggy Lipton, and Michael Cole. Are you kidding me? I know all these shows by heart.
Okay.
I'm a genius. I'm a TV genius.
Yeah, a TV genius. That's something to brag about. And then you rip on the kids today playing video games.
What I'm concerned about is I'm just not seeing the transition of the intensity. If it's there in practice, it's not translating to game situations, and I think that's going to bite him in the ass more than anything else will. Because I think they're athletic enough to overcome a lot of things. Louisville's going to bring intensity. Because Louisville's got everything in the world to prove. They are under the biggest microscope in all of college basketball right now after what they've gone through.
Hey, and I can
They've
tell
got
you
a great
this.
coach who wants to right this ship.
Hey, I can tell you this real quick. If you want to compare it to a Chris Mack practice, I've been to some because we're credentialed for Xavier basketball. In Chris Mack practices, they still get the drill where they roll a ball on the ground and expect everybody to dive for it.
We do that every day. That was breakfast.
Yeah, but I don't think there's that many teams that do that anymore.
No, a lot of teams don't.
Yeah,
we followed that right up with take the charge drills.
Yeah, that's the same thing Xavier does.
Those are warm-up.
They don't do it with pads when he was at Xavier either, so I'm assuming they don't at Louisville either. So
Vaseline, baby. Every player in my era kept a jar of Vaseline, and it wasn't there for the wrong reasons. Trust me.
I don't know. You bring it up. You bring it up so much. I'm starting to wonder.
It was to be used on the court because you knew you were sliding, you were going to be taking charges, and you were going to be in loose ball drills, and you did not want those floor burns. They did not feel good.
So didn't the floor ever get slick from the Vaseline on the floor?
We had managers that cleaned that stuff up. So
I'm not touching that. Collin, did you want to touch that?
No, he don't want to touch that. He's too young. Louisville's going to bring intensity out the yin yang to us on Saturday when they play, and if we don't step up our intensity, we're going to just win games that we can win athletically and not win games we need to win with different facets of the basketball game. Colin, am I right or wrong?
Yeah.
Quit
I agree.
agreeing with me. Jesus.
Well, you're right for the first time.
I mean, what do you want me to do? Make up stuff and tell you you're wrong? I'll tell you when you're wrong. We've disagreed before. So I'll let you know when I don't agree.
It just makes him feel weird when we agree with him because he's so often wrong.
You can learn something from losing. Exactly right. Yeah, we just
Well, you know what? This is the thing. Wait a second. Because about 10 minutes ago in this show, you said, well, I'd hate if it had to come to them going on the road and getting waxed to learn what it's like. Did he not say that, Colin?
Well, I don't think they'll learn anything. He just wakes their asses up.
Okay.
Big difference.
Waking their ass up is not the same as learning something, right?
No.
All All right, Steve. You know what? You go back to Nick at Night TV land, all right? And you go watch I Dream of Jeannie, and everything will be fine. We're going to wrap this show up.
Hey,
What?
hold on. That 30 years of Viagra is getting to his head.
His other head.
Which
one?
Which one?
The one it takes longer to get to since you're 6'8".
Yeah, Colin, you can't outsmart me, Colin. Don't try and outfunny me, Colin. Trust
Actually,
me.
I think we both just did. I think if you go back and listen to the start of the show, you'll hear me take care of Steve without a problem. But remember, guys,
it's all in fun.
You can.
Hey, in the end, it's a great win for Indiana. It's a road win. We're 2-0 in the Big Ten. I'd like to see somebody tell me the last time. Mike, can you look it up real quick before we hang up? When's the last time we were 2-0 in the Big Ten?
Really?
Can you pull that up real quick or not? If you can't, don't worry about it.
2010, Steve. I don't know.
2010 is the last time
I'm making it up,
2-0 in the Big Ten.
Steve, I thought it was obvious I was being sarcastic. Colin understood I was being sarcastic, didn't you, Colin? But Colin didn't have all that ED medicine building up in his brain.
All right.
Oh, I love it.
All right, guys. Excuse me. All right, so this is what we'll do. Anybody that tweets in the last time that IU went 2-0 to start the Big Ten season, we'll get a signed autograph picture from Steve Risley. How about that?
No, Collin Hartman. I'm nobody.
No, because I wanted to see if anybody wanted one. But
nobody wants one. My wife doesn't even want one. The only thing my wife wants signed is a check.
All right, guys. We're going to get off here.
Hey, great win for Indiana. It's all positive, guys.
He
it's
just
all
doesn't
good.
want me to
We're
end
winning.
the show. Is your wife back yet from her vacation?
What?
Is your wife back yet from her vacation?
Yeah, the gambling, the card-carrying crew from Cabo San Lucas got in today. She's out there decorating a Christmas tree now. It's going to be taken down in about 2 weeks. Why do you do that?
You take it down in 2 weeks because 2 weeks from now is Christmas. So you take it down when Christmas is over, Steve, if you were asking. You asked the question. I just figured I'd answer it.
No. You understand that my family, our Christmas tree turns into an Easter tree, which then turns into a 4th of July Independence Day tree, which then turns into a Labor Day tree, which then sits around and turns back into a Christmas tree. A pumpkin tree.
So why would she – wait a second, because that makes no sense. Because why would she be putting the tree up if you leave it up year-round?
Because I finally throw it out. And she goes and gets a new one and does it all over again.
Classic.
Okay.
I'm being facetious.
Well, I think right now, spell facetious, Steve.
What?
Spell facetious.
I can't spell facetious. Are you kidding me? F-A-C-I-E-C-I-O-U-S.
My daddy always told me if you can't spell a word.
F-A-C-I-E-C-I-O-U-S.
What?
Am I close?
I don't know.
I don't even know.
I comes before E, so.
What spell it again? I'll pay attention this time.
F-A-C-I-E-C-I-O-U-S.
No, that's wrong. It's F-A-C-E-T-I-O-U-S. And yes, I was second in the Aurora Middle School 8th grade spelling bee in 1983.
The old silent T got me again. All right.
Yeah. If it's not the silent T,
I think people stop listening to us now.
If it's not the silent T,
analysis.
it's Kyle Guy. All right, guys, we'll be back somewhere between 4:30 and 5 Saturday after the Indiana Hoosiers thump the Louisville Cardinals. Make sure you come back and check us out there. You can hear all of our shows on iHeartRadio, iTunes, TuneIn, Spreaker, Stitcher, Spotify.
Now, let me make one last comment.
Now, you're going to interrupt me again. You know, there's a rhythm to ending the show, and you always screw it up.
No, Mike, you hang up when you're done. So I'm just going to get one last word in. For all of you that want to get statistical analysis, go to all the other damn websites, all the other damn programs, and go listen to them because they're just going to read through the stat sheet for you and tell you what it looks like on paper. But tonight you got Colin and I talking about what it looks like and feels like on the court. And that's what you're going to get from us every time we talk. Stat sheets don't decide a game. Hartman decides the game.
Hartman decides the
And
game.
right now, Indiana's
All
got to
right,
get a little
guys.
stronger in its heart, but wants to keep winning.
That's a little wordplay. Did you see that? You said Hart.
Go find Kent Sterling.
For what? Hey, did you see this?
He'll give
Real
you
quick.
statistics.
Did you see Kent Sterling? He wrote that article about the kid that laid down like he was having a seizure on the court when the kid was shooting a free throw. And he made a big deal
Yeah, he
out of
kind
how
of
bad
flopped
it
on
was.
that one, didn't
And then, like, the next day, he's writing.
he? He turns around, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Either you're ripping the
He
kid or
ripped
you're
the kid
not.
royally, the Center Grove kid, for flopping, and then he turns around and now he's like defending the kid royally. Take a stand, Ken. Come on.
Yeah.
Take a position and stay with it. Or
Ken's-
either that or do your research before you put shit out on the internet. One or the other.
Yeah, that was awesome. Good work, Kent.
Now
But-
I'll never be on the Kent Sterling show again.
Oh, God, that'll just destroy you, won't it?
Well, Kent's a good guy. I like Kent. I have no
I
problem
like
with
Kent, too. And he covers the Colts and the Hoosiers very well. But I just thought it was funny because he put it out and then he turned on it the other day.
Yeah,
I don't know
did
about
see
you,
that, where
Steve.
he put it out, ripping the kid royally.
Yeah,
And
but
then
if
he
it's
turns
me,
around the
Steve,
next day and turns around.
I'm going down with the ship once I write it. So
Yeah, good for you. I respect that. I respect that. Take a stand and stick with it.
Yep. But
Colin,
all right.
I hope you don't sit next to the band at the next game. I know that Indiana basketball follows both of us, and so they're going to listen to this at some point in time. So hopefully, it doesn't get to Coach Miller, because otherwise, you will be sitting in my seat.
I don't think he said anything wrong.
Next to the two
He
of
didn't
us.
say anything bad. It's not like he said it's Coach Miller's fault. He just said that it was kind of systemic in society today.
Mm-hmm.
And when the show's over, Steve,
Okay.
I will call you and I'll explain to you what systemic means and how to spell it.
I know what systemic means.
You know what?
S-Y-S-T-E-M-I-C. S-Y-S-T-E-M-I-C.
Oh, we got you there, Mike.
Do you know what it means?
I know all about systemic. Yeah, it's through the body, through everything. Systemic is all-encompassing. You have systemic blood infection. I sold antibiotics.
And this is the thing. He
25
obviously doesn't want to help his wife put the tree up because he's prolonged the ending to this show for over 6 minutes.
I'm done.
And see, what I do is this. I do the same thing my dad used to do. I sit there and I watch her put the tree up because I don't want to put no damn tree up. All right, guys, remember.
No, you know
can
what I
hear-
do? Okay, last thing I'll
See?
say. Here's
Here
what
we
I do.
go. Go ahead. What do you do, Steve?
No, she asked me to come in here and help her. I take the first ornament, I drop it on the floor and break it, and she says, "Get the hell out of here." Okay, no problem.
That's a great plan. I love
Now,
that.
wait a second. Is this a plan? Because if I remember your IU basketball career, that's usually how the games went, wasn't it? Isaiah would throw you a pass, you'd drop it, and then Knight
I'd
would
drop
pull you
it.
out of the game.
And pull me out. Exactly. Hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Well, it's broke
Yeah.
if you dropped it, Steve.
Good night, Mike.
Good night,
Colin,
Steve.
good night.
Good night, Colin.
Good night.
Good night, John Boy. And for Collin Hartman, Steve
Go
Risley,
IU, man. We're playing good
I'm
basketball.
Mike
We're winning.
Goodpaster. You've been listening to The Grueling Truth, where Steve Risley speaks incessantly.